everybody, how's it going? This is Ryan, the Rigs of Death Metal. Today my guest is Brett of Havok. Brett, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing very good, man. How are you?
Fantastic. Glad to finally have you on. You followed the page pretty early on from what I remember, and we've kind of always had a bit of a correspondence. And
Mhm.
behold my surprise whenever I see you, getting endorsed and doing these product videos for ESP guitars and landing the Havok gig. Uh, Love to see members of this, kind of little internet community, seeing people getting elevated and getting cool gigs and doing cool shit, man.
Well, I appreciate that, and I've always, appreciated what you're doing because it's such a niche group of people, and but we all are passionate about it, and we love the gear, we love the sound, and everything, and it's cool to see what everyone's path of this music and of their musicianship and how they tend towards certain gear. So that's what got me early on. You kind of your page kind of caught me at a funny time because I was getting sort of back into metal, and was kind of re-exposing myself to like metal gear,
Mhm.
and so just having my feed be just like you know just like high gain amps and pedals and stuff all the time, and it
Hell
was
yeah.
like re-entering this magical world.
Hell yeah. It's it's a ton of fun. I try not to get too lost in the sauce for financial reasons more than anything, but
Seriously.
it is a lot of fun. Um, we featured, Reese on the show quite some time back whenever he first just started filling in with Machine Head.
Mm,
Um, how did it go about you stepping on with Havok? I assume you're full time now.
yeah,
Okay,
full
I
time.
figured.
Hmm.
How did that whole opportunity present itself? How'd you get in touch with those guys?
I also am a part of a band called Psychosomatic, which is a Sacramento-based thrash band. They originally are from Salinas, but I'll try to, I want to keep it concise, but my high school band was a metal band, and we played a lot of shows with Psychosomatic. So I knew those guys, and the main guy who's always been with the band is Jeff Salgado. And so we'd always been buddies, and we used to play shows together and all that stuff. And as I kind of alluded to, I wasn't really like involved in metal for quite a number of years, but then I started kind of getting back into it, and I joined Psychosomatic. Long story short, he asked me to join because he saw I was getting into the heavy stuff, and then he is a good friends with David Sanchez. So Psychosomatic Havok bond is a strong bond. They're good friends. David Sanchez produced the last record, Invisible Prison, Psychosomatic. Anyways, Jeff just introduced me to David at NAMM in 2024. So we hung out and everything, and then he was like, "Hey, like if Reese is busy doing stuff, like, would you be interested in filling in for like some tours or something like that?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And so that's what happened. I did a South American tour, and then a European tour, and it was announced around the European tour, I believe, that Reese was officially stepping away from Havok. And so, the discussion happened not long after that. Like, do you want to continue and be like a full time member and everything? And I said, yeah, because I love the music. The guys are awesome, and it was just totally made sense to continue with those guys.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Hmm.
Net- Networking is everything
Yeah.
in this scene, the music industry, whatever you want to call it.
Mm.
It's so much more. I think some people kind of miss that it's not just a talent thing or how good your original music is. A lot of it comes down to networking and opportunity.
Sure.
Like, but
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely correct. I mean, the ESP thing is also a result of that same NAM, which was I was just hanging out with David, and he was kind of he and I, and we were walking around meeting up with people he knows and different companies and stuff, and we went to ESP, and he introduced me to some of the guys there, and then that connection happened because they were looking for somebody local to help with product videos,
Mhm.
it sounded awesome, of course. So I started doing that, and then yeah, I became like a ESP artist through that. So that was a pretty important day, meeting David Sanchez, and then that leading to working with Havok, and then meeting the guys at ESP and becoming
Yeah.
an ESP artist. Insane, but yeah, networking.
I definitely didn't expect it to all coincide with the exact same event. That's pretty like what are the
Yeah,
odds?
and the timing of things, like I wasn't, I had to kind of keep my mouth shut a little bit, like wait for the right time to have these things be announced. So they didn't get announced simultaneously, but they were,
Yeah.
probably within a couple of months of each other, something like that.
Hell yeah. Well, happy to see it, man.
And
Going through, obviously we're a gear page, so we're just gonna dive right into, what's the live rig for Havoc looking like?
yeah, I guess we'll start with the guitars. I have a couple of arrows, LTD arrows, and they both have the Floyd Rose. I think it's the 1000, which works excellent. It's awesome.
Is that the one that has like the titanium like screw
Yeah,
upgrades? Okay.
yeah. I mean, that's what's so sick about those models. Like they already
Yeah.
come with like stainless steel frets and which are great for live instruments in particular, right?
Mhm.
Because just the lifespan is just like
Sure.
right. The maintenance goes down big time. And then in them, I just have Duncans. Like I have a custom 559 set in the charcoal burst arrow, and then I just got the new JB Jazz rails from Duncan that's in the like my red
Yeah.
arrow. Those are really sick. And then anyways, it goes from that into like a Shure, the GLX wireless system,
Okay.
like GLX 16, I think is the model. Um, the board is like right here. Should I just grab it?
Sure.
Yeah. Small, concise, travel ready. The GLX
Yeah.
right here. This is an interesting pedal, the TWA. That's
Yeah.
like godlike. They were the distributors for Maxon
Right.
in the US, and then they parted ways, but they're still working with the guy who invented the tube screamer,
Okay.
designed this one, and it's just this sick. It's got two different channels of like flavors, like circuits, I guess, diodes that are used.
Hmm.
Uh, like the red one in here, I guess, is closer to like the OD 808X.
Okay.
The green channel is like more classic. Anyways, awesome pedal. Then the Sentry noise gate. So these go into the front end of the amp, and then these two go into the effects loop. This is an old JHS mini bomb boost I've had for like 15 years.
Hmm.
A clean boost. It's like a discontinued model, but yeah, I've been using it for all different styles of music for so long. It's such a great pedal. And then just a mini flashback just for the solos and stuff.
Hell yeah.
So that's all I really need. And then probably the most important part of it is the however the hell you say that that company. But they
Chalk,
make
chalks.
chalks.
That's how I say it.
There's ways I don't want to say it. We'll just put it that way. But what an amazing power supply because of
Yeah.
you can change the voltage on
Mhm.
each channel, and then when you go to a different country, it just like automatically switches to whatever the 240 or 120. So it goes from this into, I guess it's like Risa's old rig when we're doing more like US based tours, but it's a PV Triple X2.
Oh, those are so sick.
Yeah, it's like I guess what Dave always tells me, it's like a rebranded JSX, like Joe Satriani model.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
chat with somebody from PV about some of like the rebranded models, that being one
Mhm.
of them. But
I think
yeah,
it's like voiced to be a little more aggressive than the JSX, but it's like essentially the same amp.
sure.
I use it on the medium gain channel, not the lead channel, the red. It's like the yellow, like the middle, whatever, crunch. And then it just goes into the PV cab 412 with what I can't remember what the speakers are in that one. They're not V30s. They're like the stock ones that are only particular to that amp, but they're really cool. They're like based on V30s, but they're made by PV.
Okay, that's it.
But they're really good. But like when we went to Europe last year, the backline amp that I had was a JCM 2000 TSL going into a straight Marshall cab with the Marshall vintage speakers, which are not the same thing as the vintage 30s from Celestion. And those speakers are like, both Dave and I are like lustful over those speakers. They're kind of just like a perfect, I don't know, cross between like the V30, but they're not as spiky. Like they're just, I'd have that tone like a SM57 going into the, our in-ears and stuff like that. And I would have that mic'd up tone, and just every night I'd just be like all in bliss listening to that thing. It was so sick.
Hell yeah.
And then South America, whatever they got for you.
Right. Yeah, sure.
No, they had pretty much the same stuff, like JCM 900s. There was like an 800 one or two times, 5150, triple rectifier. I'll use any of those. Yeah, they're all great.
Yeah, all pretty,
Yeah,
all very usable stuff, especially when you got a couple boost pedals and hot pickups. Like, what more do you need?
I love that. The Spartan, just, you know what I mean? Just pretty much plug in and just go.
Yeah, it's some. I got a studio board that's got all kinds of shit piled up on it, but whenever I was playing like regular gigs, that's kind of how my board always was. It was like three, maybe eventually four pedals,
Yeah.
because we didn't even really do. I never got to do any solos. We would just have like lead harmony parts and stuff like that. But
Sure.
so it was just, like think tuner, noise gate, overdrive, and it all just stayed on the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, when the music allows you to just get away with like having the least amount of gear to think about, it's a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah.
Because I've played like styles of music, or like my one of my older bands was kind of more like a prog fusion kind of thing, like rock thing, a lot of improv, and I had like the whole color palette pedal board with like every color imaginable, and I was the singer, and my foot's like going like this while I'm singing and cueing. It was just too much. I just could not enjoy myself or focus enough on my performance. I mean, I'll say I got used to it, but still, it's like, how many of those transitions can you perfectly align, while you're trying to sing and stuff and play?
Sure.
So I've been enjoying, like, for example, just playing acoustic, not even dealing with the electric component of guitar at all, and or not even using a pick, and just playing with your hands. That's that's how you're good, if you can make something work with just that, and you got no amp, no effects, no pick.
Right.
That's all you get.
Yeah, I need to work on my clean chops, honestly.
I think every like metal or rock guitar player, should spend more time playing clean, because I think the crossover of like the control that you get and the dynamics and things like that, it teaches you to play with like the right level of attack.
Yeah.
And then when you play it with distortion, it's kind of like you can play softer and you still get all the benefit of the compression and everything.
Right. Here's an interesting kind of conundrum I usually have when I'm playing acoustic or clean stuff. I just stylistically go somewhere completely different. I never find much use for it when I'm writing my own music, like anything, whether it be, something extreme, or if we're talking more, when I'm just writing stuff for myself, like a rock tune or whatever, right? Um, when I start playing a clean tone, I'm either like going full shoegaze, messing with delays and uh, whatever, or I'm just playing like maybe like a jazz standard.
Mm.
And for acoustic, I go into singer songwriter mode, or maybe I'm doing my very best impression of Django Reinhardt and failing horribly, but having fun.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so it's like I never get very inspired.
Mm.
Like I don't know what it is.
Hmm.
I hear bands that do it, and it always sounds so cool to have this wide color palette for an extreme band. Like, I don't know, maybe somebody like Lord Belial or something off the top of my head. Cool acoustic passages and things like that thrown in there. Never, I don't know why. It just the my vocabulary. It's almost like compartmentalized the vocabulary for the different styles,
Yeah.
and just having a hard time crossing it over to different tonalities or something. If that
Hmm.
makes any sense at all.
No, it does. Yeah, I think vocabulary is probably the key word
Yeah,
because like you have a vocabulary for like the distorted tone that doesn't really cross over to the clean tone and vice versa.
yeah,
And but like that's remedied just by playing clean on a more regular basis because
yeah,
it's like limitation creates, like inspiration, right? Like ultimately, like if you're stuck in that mode, if that was all you had, you'd learn how to express yourself that way and you'd find ways to make it express what you feel.
yeah.
You can just like what I like to do is I always start my practice time or my guitar time with a clean tone. And to be honest, I I play clean more than I play distorted. But yeah, and like if that becomes your kind of normal mode, then yeah, you'll start to feel more comfortable with it and expand for sure. But the other thing to say about clean tone is like that the notes decay so fast,
Hmm.
so it kind of makes it harder to fill the space with sound.
Right.
That's why a lot of art chordal arpeggios and stuff work really well. Finding chords that can ring out and create sustain, like you're holding down the sustain pedal on a piano. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, and like using octaves, Wes Montgomery,
Mm.
right? That's like his. Everyone knows Wes Montgomery for that. Everyone took that from him, the thumb octave thing.
Yeah,
But it just sounds good on a clean tone, you know.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What I know you for being a huge proponent of music theory, and I love watching your videos where you're just kind of dishing about it and trying to emphasize the importance of it, um, the benefits of it, and for those that don't know, Brett offers guitar lessons. Um, Speaking of vocabulary, huge vocabulary musically speaking, and
Thanks, man.
technically very proficient. Absolutely. Um, So, for people unfamiliar, why don't we dish into your actual like formal music education background?
Mm. Yeah, so I could say self-taught, but that's not, whatever. That I know what people mean when they say that, but it's just like you learn through osmosis when you're self-taught. People show you a lick, you're reading tab books, you're reading magazines, you're taking it from everywhere. You know what I mean? Anywhere.
Yeah.
So that was how I learned. But I grew up with a musician father, a guitar player. So I already, before I even touched a guitar, was fully immersed in, Satriani, Van Halen, just kind of and Led Zeppelin and Hendrix and all that dad shred, great guitar
Oh yeah.
music. You know what I mean? So that was like my upbringing is all that stuff. The guitar, pantheon of rock gods. And Fusion too. He loved Alan Holdsworth and all that stuff too. So I was exposed to just tons of guitar music. But anyway, so at a certain point though, and I was playing metal, and I just got really curious listening to other styles of music. Um, Started with like the Allman Brothers, getting me into the blues, and starting to do my own research in blues, and then also because they were improvisers and loved jazz, and so they were all into the Miles Davis and Coltrane stuff. So that was how I kind of okay, I should start checking this stuff out. And then I realized quickly that like I had all these skills in metal, and I kind of understood how to make those sounds, like make metal sounds at like a at a proficient level,
Hmm.
but I couldn't just wing it with jazz, right? Like I couldn't just apply what I was doing to jazz. So that kind of bothered me, like because I knew that there was just so much more to understand than where I was. And it was kind of like seeing another dimension, but with like a big wall between you and that other
Yeah.
dimension. And I was like, I want to go in there and I want to, float around in this realm, just couldn't even wrap my head around what I was hearing. So I decided, all right, I'm supposed to go to college and get a degree in something. And the only thing that I'm really interested in is music. That's how it had always been. So I guess I'm going to try to go to some music program. And I ended up being fortunate enough to go to Berkeley in Boston. And I picked it mainly because of its jazz heritage.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was going to be really out of place. I knew I was going to get my musical ass kicked left and right, and I knew that's what I needed. And that was such a good, humbling experience, to basically become a beginner again and go somewhere and just accept, like, hey, teacher, like, I'm here, I'm going to listen to what you're saying, and I'm not going to have any ego about this. And so that was such an amazing experience, mainly studying jazz, but I picked a major called professional music, which allows you basically more access across all the majors. So you can take electives that you wouldn't be, like, let's say you're a performance major, but you can't take specific electives from the arranging and like compositional based majors.
Right.
But with professional music, you get a deeper kind of access to the classes and stuff. So I kind of did that, and I usually say it was like 60% performance across many styles. I took blues ensembles, I took jazz ensembles and labs. I did country labs, like so many different styles of music. Funk. I was in a funk ensemble, fusion ensemble. Anyways, and then on the other side, I was doing a lot of arranging, studying counterpoint. Like classical counterpoint, which is mandatory, but also jazz counterpoint. I took 2 jazz counterpoint classes where you're studying horn lines and horn arrangements and stuff, and then you have to compose and arrange your own horn lines. They'll give you a standard.
Yeah.
Like, okay, here's Stella by Starlight, and we want you to arrange, 5-part horn section lines for each for each section of the tune and all that. And then at the end of the semester, guess what? You take that score to an actual project band of 30 kids playing all the instruments and stuff, and they all are reading your scores. And then the band director has your master score, and then you listen to all these students just train wreck through your piece, and and then you get graded off of the CD that they then record. So yeah, 60% performance, I would say, roughly, and then kind of like 40% arranging, composition type stuff was what I did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What?
So
What
yeah,
were your, I'm sorry, just curious because I did 1 year of music college, and so I'm just kind of curious. What were your credit hours per semester? Do you remember?
credit hours,
Yeah.
like how many hours of classes?
Like, well, basically, yeah. But yeah, yeah. Just how many?
I don't know, because it was like some classes you would have 2 days a week. Some, like one class, I think I had like 3 days a week. Some classes you'd have 1 day a week.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
Sure.
I was able to graduate, and I had to, in 3 years, 6 semesters,
Hmm.
just for the financial thing. But I was able to do that from going to a community college beforehand and just
Okay.
shaving off, like as much of the general ed stuff as I could.
Sure.
And also, for anybody watching who's considering something like this, a lot of times you'll have to argue for a credit being transferred, because they'll, especially a school like Berkeley, it's not like a regular public university or something.
Hmm.
They'll be like, well, we don't have a course that correlates to that credit you're trying to transfer. So you like have to make an argument and be like, no, it does, because here's what we studied and here's what it was about. So I had to do that for like a couple classes just so I could get those credits for that.
Hmm.
So I don't know, but one semester I had like 11 classes or something. It was psychotic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those unaware, music majors usually it's as far as like credit hours per semester is right up there with medical degrees and law degrees. Like it's a lot of hours. Um, and on top of that, they expect you, of course, to also put however many hours in the day towards homework from all your different classes. independent study, practice for like an ensemble, practice for like I had an individual guitar lesson as well. So that I had to practice from that. I had to practice oral skills, had to practice. So it's I think it's one of those degrees that if you're gonna go in, you need to try to arrange it to where you can be all in. I tried to work a part-time job while I was doing it too, and that just wasn't happening.
I can see that.
I just got burnt out. I completed the first year, did pretty well, and hit a crossroads and I decided just to go to work instead.
Yeah.
But I value the year that I got in there. It definitely made me a better musician and gave me better perspective
Mm.
overall, and made me appreciate music in general. Like I I'm at the point now, and I mean that was you know you're talking 2010 2011, so it's been a minute. um, but and you're probably probably similar to me. Once you, and I'm not saying I'm I definitely didn't get the a doctorate or anything, but just getting a little bit of perspective, I think you can listen to almost anything and pick something out of it that you can appreciate to
Mm.
where I don't find my like when I was a teenager, you would hear me say, "Oh, this band sucks," or "Oh, that person sucks," or whatever. Like I was very openly disparaging towards music I wasn't into.
Hmm.
I've gotten out of the habit of that. I you know, uh, much more, I guess, diplomatic about it.
It kind of
Because
makes you want to like, really analyze and look for what is good there because
sure,
you want there to be something to appreciate about it. Even if it's not cool music, but like, wow, she has a great voice. You
yeah,
know, it's like might be just some pop song, but like I love her voice. It's awesome, but I don't really care for much else. But I'm
sure,
gonna Carrie Underwood's a good example, man. Like her voice is sick. Um, I've seen her sing some more like church gospel music, and it's like really like moving and
hmm,
soulful, and she has insane chops that really just make it really powerful. And but I'm not interested in her actual
sure,
music.
yeah. It's like I'm about as polar opposite from a Swifty as possible. However, if you ever heard of that duo, that band, the Civil Wars, they
Uh, Kind of, yeah,
it's like
kind of,
just a man and a woman. They both sing.
yeah.
He plays like a resonator guitar a lot. And I don't think the band's together anymore. But I guess they wrote a song for I think it was one of the Hunger Game movies,
Oh,
and they wrote it and performed, but Taylor Swift sang on it,
huh.
and just like a cool collaboration that I, at the time never would have seen coming. And there's like a YouTube video or two of the three of them performing that song together, and it's crazy good.
Mm,
It's like they're very good at writing very haunting melodies,
yeah.
and so yeah, and I've heard lots of pop singers do pretty cool covers out of their usual style, and it's like, okay, wow, pretty talented. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
There's real talent there, but I wish the business at that level allowed for that talent to be
yeah,
utilized in a more original way.
and even though I can appreciate the skill level that goes into some of the productions of these songs, because obviously they're recorded these huge big studios and very talented producers or engineers, you know, composing it for the art for the performer. Um, you there's also like a singer songwriter that sold that song to whatever studio or label. Like you hear Nashville guys talk about like a song will be floating around Nashville for like 5 to 10 years before somebody actually picks it up for their record, and then it becomes a hit.
Yeah, that is wild.
it's kind of strange to wrap your head around, but
Hmm.
you know, you can hear a lot of pop songs and you'll hear them covered by somebody on piano, like solo piano singer kind of situation. And it's completely different now. like, um, and I've tried to do kind of like solo guitar compositions for certain songs, like try to do some Tom Waits kind of stuff, which translating from piano to guitar always kind of it's a little painful sometimes.
Sure.
But then also trying to get in the vocal melody in there, it comes a whole thing. Was on a Chet Atkins kick for a minute.
Way sick.
Oh yeah.
Stuff.
Uh, I keep telling myself I'm going to learn his rendition of "In the Garden," but
Hmm.
it was my late grandfather's like favorite song, so I just
Nice.
yeah. But do you still perform uh like do you still perform any like jazz pieces in any capacity?
These days, not as much. Actually, well, last year I was doing some winery gigs where I was doing solo jazz guitar.
Yeah.
And so I do those kind of sort of sporadically.
Okay.
Sporadically, we'll do those. Because in my family, I have some like family members that are like in the wine business.
Hmm.
And so they have connections and kind of find gigs and stuff for me to do. If I have availability, if I'm feeling up to it and whatnot. And it's a lot of fun. It's really cool. I really enjoy, especially being in a beautiful setting and where people are just trying to have a good time and just be low stress. And it's like it feels nice to kind of supply the atmosphere for that and to kind of vibe off of what like how everyone else is feeling
Hmm.
and kind of pick the next piece based on that. Like, these people need a little bit of energy here. I'm gonna play something that's like medium tempo. You know what I mean? Something that's like
Sure.
got more of a walking feel, and you kind of see the space change
Nice.
through what you're putting out, and it's like, okay, it's kind of time to bring it down. Let's play a nice ballad,
Hmm.
and like let's play like Misty or something, and just and what's rad about some of these standards is like some of these like older aged wine drinkers, they'll know it and they'll come up and they'll start singing the words and throw a couple bucks in the tip jar or whatever and say thank you for the music. It's so cool. So I do enjoy that. It's just a different type of experience from doing like the metal stuff. But the other thing was that older project that I was mentioning earlier, which was called The Mindful. That was my whole thing for a while, was playing in this band that was very improv centric. So I think it's natural, especially for me and how I am over time. I kind of go through like arcs of things that I'm interested in and that I focus on. And I got kind of, I'm not going to say burnout, but I got ready to kind of move into more of a concise style of music where
Hmm.
things aren't as quite as open and just kind of loose, but but as intentional as possible, and no fat, trimming all fat off of the music. That was one thing, kind of returning into this like metal type of music that I really value a lot. Come up with a song that's 2.5 minutes, but has as much as you need. It says its thing, it makes its statement, and then it's done. And I love that.
Oh yeah. Uh, Speaking of concise, when it comes to the guitar solos, are you trying? This is kind of always the question for replacement lead guitar players stepping into an existing band. Are you trying to play them note for note how they are on the record? Are you trying to do your own thing entirely, or somewhere in the middle?
I think when you're analyzing a solo, guitar player's solo, it's pretty clear that there are intentional lines that are themes that are composed, and then you can hear parts that are have more of an improvised feel
Hmm.
and are not meant to be perfectly intelligible by every single note. You know, like there's a big difference between someone playing like a really clear cascading sequence that's like you can hear every line, And if you don't do that, it doesn't sound right. Versus kind of it's basically, I don't know, I don't want to say just filling time, but that's how it's functioning, right? It's like, okay, something crazy from here to here, you know.
Yeah.
So what I do is I will try to exactly see what, like we'll just, Reese's solo or whatever it is, and figure out exactly what all those parts are, even the ones that seem more of that improvised off the cuff feel. And then if I feel like it would maybe benefit or it would be a good opportunity for me to express a little bit of myself within it, then I'll tweak it. Like
Right.
certain runs or something I might add, something that I like and throw that in there, but it still accomplishes the exact same effect of like, I need to get from here to here and a big bend at the end. Right.
Yeah.
But how I get there might just vary a little bit, but it's still based around the original
Sure.
sequence. I just kind of made little moves here and there and changed it to give it a slightly different sound. So it is definitely somewhere in the middle, but I, even more than like, or I should say maybe as much as like the individual notes, it's the feel and it's just kind of the attitude of it. Like Reese has that Southern dime inspired feel. And I was raised on all the Dimebag stuff. So to me, like his feel and the kind of the way he expresses himself is like feels natural for me to get into that mode.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just wide bends and all that kind of stuff, and squeals and stuff.
It's fun
So,
and it's expressive. I mean, like, what's not to like, you know?
well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that like I respect Reese and I respect his work. So I just try to honor that by playing it well, playing it in his spirit, but like
Hmm.
not exactly just trying to play it note for note.
Sure. Absolutely. No, it makes total sense. And I've heard I've heard plenty of other guitar players say that that's how they play their own solos.
Hmm.
Off the top of my head, Alexi Lejo comes to mind. He would have certain parts, like typically the more melodic parts of the sections that stand out. That stuff is usually played, but he said for like the faster parts, it's just kind of a blurred. So if he's in that scale and in that ballpark, he doesn't worry too much about it being note for note to the whatever he did on the record.
That's what makes it feel live too, right?
Yeah.
Like the song is happening. So like it's not like you just press play on the CD and it's just like, oh, here are all the notes. It was like you're playing Guitar Hero. It's like the
Yeah.
song is happening and it has something else to say today. It's gonna do this other thing.
Sure.
So there
Absolutely.
is a little bit of room for that kind of stuff while still staying true to the overall
Yeah.
solo structure.
Like I for as much um over the top shredding as I love and listen to, and we all like to just noodle around sometimes, when we're practicing and get lost in the sauce. But I am such a fan of melodic, composed guitar solos. Um, two of my favorites since I was a teenager have remained No More Tears and The Unforgiven. To me, those are, for one, they're perfect songs, and the
Yeah.
solos are perfect compositions within those songs.
Hmm.
Um, you can't imagine the songs without them. It really helps to kind of crescendo the overall song.
Hmm.
But I think maybe that jazz background, and I'm such a big Frank Zappa fan. I always kind of remember that one quote, something about most guitar players are almost like a wind up monkey. They just go out on stage, play their exact same thing the same way every night, and then fuck off. um,
I get it, but I don't think that like I can understand that opinion, but also kind of like if that's like how it should be, if that's how the music is best represented live, then that's how it is. Like classical music's like that, right?
yeah, absolutely. I of course, Frank was a very particular style.
Of course.
Um, and you know, the more composed melodic solos, I would akin much more, like you said, more of the classical guitar influence, um, where everything is about just perfect replication. Um, it's jazz versus classical. Jazz is more about, the musician kind of finding their way through, improvising,
Sure.
um, adding their flavor to it, their interpretation. Classical is like, no, it's on the paper. You play it like it's on the paper.
Yeah, it's intentional.
Yeah,
Not that improvising isn't, but like composing and improvising are the same thing, but just at different speeds, right?
yeah, it's a good way to look at it. I
So
like it.
like when you're composing, it's the same part of your brain that improvises and comes up
Hmm.
with stuff on the spot, but it is giving itself the time to consider every single choice. Like you're playing chess and you have to think about every move. And
Yeah,
if I do this move, then that means I shouldn't do this one, but I should probably do that instead. You know, um, and I really value that because I get to sit on it. I get to sleep on it and listen back again and go, this could be a little bit better. I'm hearing something different right here, and
yeah,
I have to figure out what it is. It's kind of like seeing, there's like some hidden structure within the marble, right? It's like that old Michelangelo anecdote or whatever,
yeah.
how he sees the statue, but everything else is just excess that's around it. You're trying to get rid of, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, I love them both. I love composing where you get to take your time, and I also really love improvising too.
Hell yeah.
But to get better at improvising requires slowing down and composing. Like, okay, I want my improv to be better, but I need to slow down and methodically think about like what my options are and what new things I can interject, so that when I'm not thinking and I'm just feeling, those tools are now there. But that is a whole process that takes time.
Yeah. Um, Circling it back to gear a second.
Yep.
I've always been kind of curious about that Jazz Master of yours. Is that,
Oh yeah, this guy.
yeah,
This is a unique one for sure.
undoubtedly.
Really, yeah. You want me to just say what it is or what?
Yeah, just go through the little rundown of the guitar there.
Yeah, I was going through a weird phase because I was like coming out of the whole fusion project thing, and I was just finding myself getting more interested in heavy stuff. But like, I didn't just like jump right from playing, because I used to have a vintage '63 Jazzmaster. That was my main guitar for like 2 or 3 years. So I went from that, and I wasn't going to just go from that to BC Rich. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I was like, all right, well, same body style that I've been using for the last few years, but let's like basically turn it into a Les Paul, you know?
Yeah.
So, well, the cool thing was back then, I think I think I got this in like 2016 or no, 2018, 2019, whatever, a while ago.
Yeah.
Back then, you got to select a specific top for quilt or flame maple top, and there would be images uploaded, like a little library where you could scroll through the different tops.
Hmm.
And I had my eye on this exact top for like 2 or 3 months. I would keep checking to see if it was still on the site, because it is just it's just incredible looking, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, I got that. It's a mahogany body. It's got some chambering in it, and yeah, three-way switch, 2 tones of volume. These are rewind pickups. Rewind Electric is like a super boutique, like forensics level, like Gibson Les Paul style PAF kind of pickup
Okay.
company. Hand wound. Every little tiny detail is like accurate and all that crap. Anyways, they're just like 59 Les Paul style pickups. They sound really good. The neck's probably the weirdest part. It's like a 59 Les Paul neck. It's really fat.
Huh.
It's like a point 0.9 inches here, and then it's like a 0.97 inches here at the 12th fret. So it's like really beefy.
Hmm.
Ebony fretboard, 25.5 inch scale, and just some locking tuners on the end there. And but it's still a bolt on, so it just kind
Yeah.
of has a weird middle ground sound of like sparkly, but also kind of fat and kind of airy.
Hmm.
So it just operates in this really weird space between the Fender and the Gibson kind of DNA. But I've played a lot of gigs with this, a lot of blues, R&B gigs, stuff like that with this guitar. It kind of can do it all.
Gotcha. And I don't think we mentioned it. If we did, I missed it. That's all Warmoth parts
Oh,
or
sorry. Warm off body, Musicraft neck.
music craft. Interesting. Okay.
I think they're out of New Jersey, but they made an amazing neck. It's so sick.
Nice.
But it's
Yeah.
different. If I'm used to playing like the arrows, like if my hand is used to the arrow and I pick this thing up, it's like an entirely different world, you know? It's like, oh, okay.
Absolutely.
This is a fatter neck profile than like my acoustics. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Yeah. I had to ask about that because I've, seen that on your page for a while now and
Yeah.
always super curious about it. It definitely stands out. I knew it wasn't a Fender because they don't put anything out that different.
Yeah.
Like, I guess they kind of do like their what is it? What do they call it? Parallel universe series or something like that.
Uh, no clue.
Yeah, they had like some oddballs. Like they did a telly that had like a tunematic bridge and a couple PAF humbuckers and like it was their troublemaker telly. It was like kind of like it was double bound too. Um, so they'll once in a blue moon they'll do something out of the norm, but they're pretty, you know,
Boomer.
yeah, pretty boomer. Pretty,
Boomer.
yeah, yeah,
That's what their people want, man. That's what their audience wants. Boomer.
yeah, yeah,
And in most ways, I'm a boomer, so I kind of get it.
yeah. Is what it is. We're
When it
we're
comes
all,
to gear, I should say, I'm
yeah,
pretty damn boomer.
yeah, we're all
Passive
getting old.
pickups and Marshalls and like, that's kind of my jam.
I I like it all, but that it's hard at the end of the day. Convenience is nice and all, but it's all just a stand-in for the real thing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like you can make do and it like you can get
Yeah.
by or it's fine for this or like we get 5 minutes to load in. I'm just kind of thing. But it's like at the end of the day, uh if you've been fortunate enough to play gigs, because I know some people literally have never played a gig with, you know, like a tube head and in
Sure.
412, you know. Um,
Yeah, and that used to be just the normal thing. Like there wasn't
right.
another way.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you know, I, I think it's funny to me to think that there's some spoiled sound guys out there that haven't had to deal with like a couple half stacks on stage.
That's funny.
um, I don't know. I've heard some weird complaints from people like that they just roll in with just a 412 and they're getting eye rolls and it's like really? Like
Huh.
isn't that the norm? Like
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the venue. I would say. I mean,
sure.
because I've played a lot of like, I guess you could say kind of like the vibe is kind of coffee house gigs or whatever. I wouldn't roll with a 412 into
No, no, no.
that.
Yeah,
Even
no,
if
definitely not.
part of my soul kind of wants to, you know.
It
But no,
would be
I'm
fun.
gonna roll in there with a 112, and you know, and even that's gonna be too powerful ultimately. So it's gonna
Sure.
be turned pretty low.
I've I, for a jazz combo that I did, we did a set and they did our finals like for all the different jazz combos that semester finals. It was at a local bar, like a local venue. Um, it was kind of cool. Our combo did all Miles Davis tunes, and there's a couple other metalheads among all the jazz players. So we were kind of joking about bringing like I had a JCM 2000 at the time. I was joking about you know like, oh, let's bring that.
Shit, Jeff Beck. He used the
Yeah.
JCMT. They're capable of beautiful clean tones and like
Oh, it was so
soft
good.
drive. It's such a versatile head.
Killer head. I miss that thing so bad.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like good all around amp.
Hmm. Who else used to? Robin Trower was playing those for a good while too.
Sure. I think
Like
doesn't Nuno use the 2000 live?
it wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not sure.
Uh,
I could,
I'm
I could
I'm
see that.
98% sure that he always uses a 2000 live.
That's so sick. And then also, I've seen Ulcerate and Hate Eternal use them. Like,
Oh, really? Oh, no way.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy. I didn't. Ulcerate does that. Uses those.
I don't know if they still do, but I have seen videos where they're like definitely you can see his like rack. He's got a couple,
Yeah,
and I was
yeah. It's got an effects loop. I mean, it's got great clean. You turn that clean all the way up, the gain on it. It's a nice crunch, kind of closer to the vintage kind of Marshall sound. And
yeah,
then I think the TSL might edge out the DSL just by a hair. It like just has a little bit better tone, and there's obviously more control with the EQ because of the third channel on it,
sure.
right? But anyways, either one of them, you cannot go wrong.
Oh yeah. Uh, I've heard that the clean channel is just the JCM 800 circuit, but I don't know.
Well, it doesn't have the same like kind of picking response. Like it doesn't feel as 3D. I don't know if that word means anything to anybody who's listening to this or watching this,
Hmm.
but like the JCM 800, I have my 800 here. Yeah, I mean, when it just feels, it's kind of like the difference between listening to like, and somebody's going to get angry about this probably, but like vinyl versus like digital. Digital audio sounds flat, like it just kind of sounds like a wall of sound.
Hmm.
But when you listen to a record or something, it seems to me that you can hear the spatial qualities a lot more clearly, like where things are placed in the mix. Like it's almost like there's a 3D kind of image in your head of where everything is within a room's type of space or something like that. But when I listen to a CD, it's just like this, and I feel that with a JCM 800 being more like the sound kind of just seems like it envelops space more
Hmm.
versus the 2000 is just kind of like the sound comes out, and it's a nice sound, but it's such a visceral thing that I'm talking about. It's not going to make any sense unless somebody's playing through these things. But that's kind of what my experience is.
Sure. It's heard similar talks when people are referencing recording all digitally versus recording to tape. Um, just I guess that love something to do about maybe like the tape saturation itself, which there's like plugins and stuff now, but I think there's still maybe a little hard to quantify like something missing in some of the emulations. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, it's almost like being able to hear a texture.
yeah.
That's how I best describe it. I remember A being it wasn't the latest Goat Horror record. It was I think the one before it, um, where I actually got the vinyl and it came with a digital code and I A B'd, you know, the digital version on my phone, like with headphones, and then I played the vinyl record on my turntable in my living room, and it's wild, like how different it sounded. Um, I thought the vinyl just made everything sound so much nastier and more
Yeah,
aggressive. Just that extra little bit of level of like grit and saturation, I guess.
yeah, for sure. It adds a lot, man.
Which, if I remember right, I think that one was recorded with Eric Ratan, and
Oh, okay.
I think they recorded digitally and bounced it all to tape, and then back in to finish their mix or whatever. Or
Hmm.
well, they probably mixed it, bounced it, then bounced back to digital to master it. If I were to
Yeah,
guess, I don't know.
yeah, yeah. That sounds right.
Yeah, something like that.
That's cool.
Uh,
I'm glad there are people that are doing that, that are trying to incorporate the tape and also use the convenience of the digital. Because yeah, it's kind of like diminishing returns at a certain point. Like, how vintage do you want to get?
yeah,
Especially for music that's like technical and stuff. That's going to require some degree of editing and stuff and shit. Can you imagine,
yeah,
taking an Arch Spire record, doing that to tape and having to edit
dude.
things together for that.
Dude, I would love to see Arcspire eventually kind of just mutate to being a little bit more old school.
Yeah.
Like and in a sense, it almost doesn't seem like it would work. But like I've seen some stuff with with those guys where each record they're kind of being um, like they're definitely not about to go record a like a live room record,
Sure.
but they're kind of trying to lean a little bit more that way, a little less digital, super hyper produced. It's still very produced, but like baby steps.
Yeah.
I just think, well, of course, then you also think of bands like Necrophagus where they're like, you know, doing like a take per note kind of thing,
Yeah.
like just crazy stuff. I don't know what the good sweet spot would be for a band that technical.
Well, I mean, the here's the thing: studio and live can and a lot of times should be treated respectively. Like the studio thing is its own art form. So I would say, whatever the art needs for it to sound the way it needs to do, like with them doing this, like, really over the top tracking process, tracking one note at a time. But then it's like, okay, well, will this material translate live in the way that the performers can execute? And in that case, overwhelmingly, they were able to execute it. So that's where it works. But it's a problem if obviously the band is recording and making it sound like this ultra tight perfection, and then live are not close enough to, and then okay, you just kind of pulled a trick on me, tried to make me believe that you're like some superhuman, but you really haven't put in the time to replicate that live. Nobody wants to see that. So yeah, and in general, I'd prefer to listen to music that's has more raw, has more, just that kind of human element to it.
Sure.
But I can understand and respect somebody wanting to create this kind of like robotic matrix sounding like crazy machine thing. That's cool. I mean, Meshuggah were doing that pretty early on,
Yeah.
and they kind of helped define that whole aesthetic. That's cool. But yeah, I like it a little bit more on the dirty raw side.
Sure.
That's the
Absolutely.
fun.
I over the last year or so, especially because I've been trying to work on recording my band and their stuff. Um, and I'm getting to I'm doing everything myself. Uh, I've really gotten to be a big fan of like what Colin Marston did with Imperial Triumphant for a lot of their records and some of
His
the more,
mixes are awesome.
dude, they're so good. It just sounds like he's this is gonna sound almost dumb how oversimplified it is. It literally just sounds like somebody just recording a band playing. Like like
Yeah.
like he made the comment something about he doesn't think it's his decision or his call. Like if a band wants to play this certain way, if like a take or whatever, if they want to play through a song and they think that that is representative of them and they're happy with that take, who is he to question that and say, no, I need a better one?
Mm-hmm.
Or, we're going to break this up in this one riff into like 5 takes to make it extra perfect. Like, I just appreciate that he's just not that guy. And you know, uh, he's definitely putting in some work. Like he's definitely not just,
Of
it
course.
doesn't sound like a blasphemy record where it's just a wall of noise,
Right.
although that's cool too.
Sure.
Um, but you can definitely tell he's definitely putting some work in, doing some polishing and stuff in there, but it still sounds real.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you heard the band Mortual, but
No, I'm
I,
not.
it's one of the records I've been really into here lately. They just put a new one out. I don't remember if it was last month or the month before maybe, and they have it written on the back of the album. What is it? Something like no samples, no triggers, no MIDI, or something like that. No MIDI, no triggers, no weakness. That's what.
That's sick.
Hell yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I love, anybody who just goes against the grain, right? Like,
Mhm.
what's the opposite? Like, what's doing the opposite thing right now is to like allow mistakes on your album.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate anti-flex.
Yeah.
It's like oops, but like it still sounds cool enough to be there. You know, um, I mean, even this might be a hot take. I don't know. The last bend in No More Tears solo is kind of a weird sounding bend. It's not like a traditionally. It sounds almost like a anxious kind of bend. It's not like a typical like wide controlled kind of
Yeah.
LFO type of rate. You know what I mean? It kind
Hmm.
of kind of does like an awkward sounding bend, but it has an emotional impact, and it I don't know. It kind of tells a story more than it would have maybe if it was simpler or more predictable sounding, right?
Yeah. No, it definitely sounds like he literally was just trying to get it in there at the end of a run.
Yeah,
Like, like he very well could have. What was that? 88 or 89? So he very well. Uh huh.
I think it came out in '90 because No Rest for the Wicked was like '88.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why I was. Maybe I got the dates backwards, but uh, yeah. So it was very likely he had to record the solo in one take.
Totally, man. Yeah, so I think it's cool to like kind of live and die by that one particular performance, but it's again diminishing returns. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to feel like you have to do everything the hardest possible way. Like it just needs to sound right. You
Hmm.
know, so whether that means doing more editing or less editing, whatever gets you there, I think is fine. And then of course being able to pull it off live.
Absolutely. Um, Gotta ask what, because you've had so many cool things happen to you within the last like year or so. What goals do you have for yourself, both like, professionally as a musician, uh, more personally, because we all, as us as musicians, we all know that we hold ourselves to unrealistic standards. So, yeah, what goals do you have for yourself all around?
Well, I always want to continue. I'm always going to be a student. Like I'm always going to feel like a student. Where it's like I've learned this X amount. I've been playing for 25 years, but I don't feel like it's you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've gotten to anywhere near any kind of end point. And that's kind of the beauty of that is that it will go on beyond the length of one life, multiple lifetimes. So I just want to keep learning, keep growing, keep pushing myself. And I guess kind of my goals long term are more. I I have eclectic tastes musically, so I want to be able to express and I guess have various projects over the years that will kind of scratch different itches. You know, I might want to I might want to do something jazz based, like as a recording or like a project that performs in the future. I also just want to like play with great players, great musicians that I can learn from across different genres. Um, those are kind of my goals, I guess. And just to release music over the course of my life that I like. Um, so yeah, and I mean career wise, it's basically the same answer. Like not just creative fulfillment was what I was talking about before, but like also like playing with just great musicians, and I like throwing myself into these other types of musical settings and seeing how I can kind of complement that and find my voice within that different thing. So I just hope that I can stay versatile and that my career can be versatile.
Oh yeah. And we chatted a little bit before I actually hit record, and I said I would circle back around to this. Um, we were chatting a little bit about just working out, and it seems pretty apparent that especially with metal musicians that are uh, very proficient at their instrument, a lot of them are gym rats. There's a lot of parallels, it seems, between the two. Both require discipline, stuff like that. Uh, how would you correlate the two? Like, what did the interest in both happen somewhat similar? Did it take so many years of the one before you got into the other? Kind of just how did you get into it, and what do you get from it?
I Yeah, I didn't really like grow up being into like sports. I did some sports and stuff, but I wasn't like really that passionate about it. Once I got guitar, then I was kind of excused permanently from being having to do any other after school stuff, and that was perfect. Um, Again, my dad was into bodybuilding and worked out and stuff like before I was born, and so there was kind of that as well. Like, and I think just growing up watching cartoons, reading comic books, seeing action movies, and just jacked bros, just crushing. You know what I mean? And it was just kind of like, wow, it would be cool to be like in shape like that and be strong. And so I don't really know exactly what even sparked it, but I've kind of been into like working out. Like there were different phases where I was into it, and then like I don't know, I like fell off, and then like before I went to Berkeley, for example, I was like really into it, and I was like, but anytime like I would get sick, I would kind of like be out of it, and I'd try to get back in, and it would be like hard or something. I'd find some way to kind of get out of it. So that happened like 2 or 3 times. But this most recent one, I've been really solidly doing it for like a few years without breaks. And but what I get out of it is a lot of different things for sure. But probably first and foremost is it just really helps just kind of your mental well-being.
Mm-hmm.
It's you get out a lot of tension and a lot of whatever negative feelings and stuff by working out,
Yeah.
frustration, things like that. And it is also just really fun to learn new exercises and to learn like perfect the technique of it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's a clear parallel with playing guitar. And yeah, you keep doing it like week after week after week, and things get better, and like you get stronger, you see results, and your technique gets better. So I really enjoy that part of it too. And you kind of have to train the guitar like similarly that you would like in a gym. Like you can't just for example, tremolo pick for like 3 hours straight,
Yeah.
the same way that you cannot do bicep curls for 3 hours straight.
Right.
To see the right results, they're done in like shorter, moderate bursts, and then you take the rest of the day off and you hit it the next day. So yeah, and then it also just it makes your body feel better. Like my body, if I'm not working out, like I get sore if I'm not working out. My
Mm-hmm.
back gets sore and stuff, you know. And again, the other point that I made when we were discussing this earlier was just wanting to be in shape when I'm old, so that way I can keep playing guitar, do the things I love to do, get around easily, be independent, have a good quality of life at the end, and not be just all hunched over and jacked up, like because it working out strengthens your bones and stuff. And what's one of the main things that takes people out at the end is they fall and break a bone, and then
Oh, yeah.
that's it, so yeah, there's just a lot of different really good reasons to do it, and most of all, I just enjoy it. It just makes me feel good. Those endorphins, man, they're awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That I gotta ask. Your dad was a guitar player and a bodybuilder. Was your dad Kane Roberts by any chance? Just curious.
I don't know who Kane Roberts is.
Uh, do a quick Google search for her. You know what? Here I
Sure.
can real quick. Um, yeah, no, it's
It's got a sick name though.
yeah, he played for Alice Cooper.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Oh yeah, that dude.
okay, you seen him?
He never got quite that jacked, but he was pretty. But he had his heyday where he was pretty jacked.
Here, I'm gonna do a little screen share here for viewers at home.
Yeah, I don't really know the full story about this guy, but I've seen the pictures. It's like kind of had nothing but respect.
Right? It's like, how can you not?
Yeah.
Like the machine gun guitars and everything,
Why was he not like the king of the 80s? I mean, you know.
right? Like Eddie's cool and all, but I mean, machine gun guitar. No.
Yeah, that's like the T1000 version of Eddie right there.
Yeah. uh, but yeah, for well, everybody watching this for Guitar Gear is probably like, shut up about weights.
They're great.
Yeah, it honestly, if you can, I get it. Like if you can power through the first month or whatever when you having just kind of a lull and it's just you're just sore and hurting because you're not used to it. If you can just suffer through the first, I don't know, couple weeks to a month, whatever, it becomes one of those things like, um, again, I think I started really getting into it in 2011. I had a couple lulls, especially around the kids being born, whatever, but fairly consistent that whole time. And if I don't go, if I don't at least go 3 times a week, I'm cranky. I feel like
Yeah.
crap. I'm self conscious. I'm just, it messes with me mentally. I'm not as pleasant to be around. It's almost like not getting enough sleep. Like
Yeah.
you just feel like crap, and you're not yourself.
You bring up another point too, which is that like when you're working out, there's like peripheral behaviors that also align with that make your quality of life better too.
Hmm.
Namely, sleep and nutrition. You make
Yeah.
better choices with your eating because you think about how it's actually going to affect your body, or or maybe your workout, and you prefer to have quality food and to make sure that it supplies you with the nutrients and the things that your body wants.
Right.
Water, drinking water, you know what I mean? Like it's just like it's working out is this thing, but there's all this other stuff around it that comes along with it too.
Yeah. Which that is the most that has been admittedly the most inconsistent part for me is the diet.
I think that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
The hardest
Absolutely.
part. I've been on like a few month cut, actually, a deficit. And so I've really had to dial in like what my diet is and stuff every day. But once I kind of, did that for like a week, like of really specifically plotting everything I was eating, then it trained me. So I don't, I don't have to think about it as much now.
Yeah.
It's just kind of dialed in, and I
Sure.
continue to lose weight at at a slow but steady pace
Yeah.
rather than trying to lose it all at once, which as people know is not really the way to do it. That's
Sure.
not healthy on your system. It's like a huge drag on your system.
Right.
And also the muscle you've gained, you will lose. You will lose more of than if you lose weight slowly.
Absolutely. Um, Two more questions. First one being the last gear question here. Is there anything in your current setup that you're looking for? Um, like any kind of problem solver. Like we all like shiny new guitars, but something that would fill any kind of void in a functional manner.
Um, kind of. Well, actually, yeah. I used my main guitar for like 10 years was a Telecaster.
Hmm.
All the way through Berkeley, a bunch of gigs and stuff I was doing after that. The Tele, that was my guitar. I played it every day. I sold it, and now I don't have a Tele. So like that's just one of those instruments that just like does certain things that like you kind of need to have for sparkly, clean sounds, or even like raunchy kind of rock, slightly overdriven kind of sounds. So probably a Tele, I would say, or like a really actually no. Another thing I don't have is like a jazz archtop hollow body.
Mm.
I would love to have like a single cut, like a ES 175, I think is the model. I don't have anything that's like that, so I usually play jazz on like a nylon string guitar, or like even on my LTD Eclipse.
Mm.
That guitar can get a nice jazz tone because I put a 59 in the neck,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I just roll the tone knob down a bit, and then it sounds pretty warm.
Works for Skolnick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly though, the stainless steel frets, that's like the hardest thing to EQ, because no matter what, like there's this kind of bright, snappy, kind of happy sound of the clean tones. And I know a lot of people debate about whether that matters, but to me, it's like the regular nickel frets, they just sound darker. And the stainless steel, they zing. So, so anyways, with the Eclipse, that's something that goes on. But I'm just grateful that that guitar can handle as much as it does so well.
Hey, I think with guitar, any of the points of contact, I think at least, play a part.
Mm-hmm.
Like you may not, notice night and day difference, but, when you change out a bridge or the nut or the frets, but all those points of contact, like tone woods are kind of like a bit of a, weird subjective thing, especially with gobs of distortion or whatever. But I firmly believe construction and all the points of contact with the string can affect it to at least some degree, for sure.
Well, I was recently doing some video work with the ESP guys and checking out some different guitars.
Mm-hmm.
And went from one with the same pickup set. I can't remember what they were. They were like EMGs or something.
Mm-hmm.
And a similar type of model, but with a much beefier neck. Not huge, but significantly meatier. And man, there was so much more bass response from that guitar with the thicker neck, and like it growled more. The other one just sounded kind of hot and just sort of immediate, but this one was just kind of like hit you in the gut kind of sound. And it was like they should basically sound the same pickup.
Yeah.
Both similarly-ish shamed shapes and whatever through the same amp and everything. But yeah, that thicker neck, that made a big difference in the tone.
Interesting. Especially with EMGs. Like,
yeah,
everybody likes to say, oh, you could put an EMG in a log and it'll sound the same, but
I don't know, man. Again, I'm kind of on the boomer side of the fence with the whole tone wood and all that kind of stuff. I think it makes a difference. I think it does. I think it's harder to tell when it's distorted, but I think there's still a difference.
Well, I definitely know EMGs don't always sound the same. I've definitely tried guitars where it could sound like paper thin, just kind of uninspiring and shitty. And, then I have a couple guitars with EMGs that I absolutely love, and they sound great, sound full.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Totally depends. But last question, and then I will let you go for the evening. What is your metal Mount Rushmore of bands or albums? Whatever's easier to rattle off the top of your head.
Okay. Well, the funny thing is like my favorite band of all time is Black Sabbath.
Hell yeah.
And then my next favorite is Ozzy Osbourne. Okay. Especially the Randy Rhoads. So like Randy Rhoads is going to be my favorite metal guitar player always, forever.
Just because I'm super judgy. No, I'm just kidding. But what's your favorite Sabbath record? And you said Randy, so I can kind of assume what your favorite Ozzy record is. But what's your favorite Sabbath record?
Master of Reality.
Fuck yeah. Same.
Yeah. Master of Reality.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's got Into the Void on it. It's got Children of the Grave.
It's heavy as shit. Yeah.
Lord of This World. Lord of This World is like one of my top 5 favorite Sabbath songs, dude. That song is so fucking sick.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Sabbath started it. That's what made me play guitar. Was I heard Iron Man and I was like, that's the sickest thing of all time, and I want to play that. So that was what I started with. So I mean the Mount Rushmore. So Sabbath and then Ozzy with Randy Rhoads. I guess you can count those as 2 things. It's tough. I'm putting Morbid Angel on there for 3.
Which era?
It's changed over the years.
Okay.
I'm going Tucker.
Okay.
Tucker.
Probably, I'm going to guess probably Gateways.
Yeah, Gateways, but also Formulas and Heretic, even though it gets slammed on because of the production's like weird, because there's no bass on the production.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of dig it in a way because I feel like it just sounds like a really raw tracking of a JCM 900. And I think since I have a 900 and I know what it sounds like, I can kind of it almost feels like I'm in the room with my amp or something.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like Heretic has Trey's best solos. His solos on that album are fucking insane. So people kind of sleep on that one just because they can't acclimate to like the quality of the recording.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4. Why is it always that last one on the list? It's like the impossible one. I mean, there's so many things I could pick because, like, for example, Pantera would be an obvious choice. That was such a huge part. But like, kind of dark horse choice might be like Opeth.
Okay. Hell yeah.
For
Respectable.
the dynamics, the soul. There's just a lot to digest with their music, especially the Prime era,
Mm-hmm.
Blackwater Park era, and like Damnation and even the records and stuff a little bit before that. I'm not as hip to the proggy, more modern stuff of theirs, but it's cool. But
It's hit or miss for me.
yeah,
There's a couple bangers like Sorceress and stuff, but for the most part, I miss the old days.
yeah, and like I miss them with their old guitar player as well.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he didn't shred or anything; they didn't have that element, but they didn't need it.
Yeah.
They did not need any shred guitar because the atmosphere of their music and the quality of the melodies and stuff was just so top.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I do love Frederick Aukison. Like,
he's fantastic. It's
yeah,
just it turns that into a different band when you have somebody who's like '80s inspired because they didn't have any '80s sort of sound to them. But like,
sure.
I guess you could just kind of boil shredding guitar.
Yeah,
Essentially, it's it has the '80s DNA in it, right?
yeah. He he's pretty versatile. Like he can do like some more Peter Green type shit or whatever. But
Sure.
yeah, it is
I haven't listened to like everything he's done with the band, and I'm not talking down on him in any
sure,
way. I
sure.
have total respect for that guy.
Man, he used to have this one really cool prog band. I'm trying to remember what they were called. Sorcerer, maybe. It
Hmm.
was something like that. That was a pretty sick band. Um, and then the record he did with Arch Enemy, I think
Hmm.
was like my second favorite record with them. The Doomsday Machine
I don't know if I heard that one.
had like My Apocalypse on it. It was like a big single there for a minute. Cool riff.
Hmm.
I always liked the early Johann stuff myself, but
Yeah.
okay, yeah. And also I want to state I don't think you're well. I guess technically you had Sabbath and Ozzy. I was gonna say I don't think you're as much of a boomer as you might think because for Morbid, I, it I had this discussion with somebody the other day. Morbid Angel is one of those bands because I ask this question in every interview, and tons of people have included Morbid, and
Yeah.
it seems very generational
Right.
what era or what album they pick. Same thing with Cannibal Corpse, right?
Yeah.
um, so it's usually very distinct depending on if they're like 40 or older. It's usually, Vincent era and they're picking either Altars or Blessed.
Right.
And if it's like, 30s or younger, everyone says Gateways.
Yeah. I like it all, but
Sure.
I feel like they opened up a new kind of door with Tucker, like conceptually,
Hmm.
like with the music and with the lyrics.
Yeah.
And I feel like they got away from like just the strictly like evil thing, and they
Hmm.
opened it up into like more kind of transcendental, kind of metaphysical, kind of
Oh, for
lyrical
sure.
perspective. So that just resonates more with me than just straight Satanism stuff, like
Yeah.
lyrics and stuff. Like I do enjoy that too, and the imagery and the storytelling on that, and I love that stuff too. But and then also what Trey was able to do compositionally, I feel like it just I don't know, it just I feel like it went from this sound to this sound
Yeah.
when they changed.
Yeah. Uh, it's a mood thing for me,
Sure.
like there are days where that I like the Thy Kingdom Come demo the best.
Mhm.
Just how raw that and like altars, like just how raw and thrashy, and
Totally.
you can hear them like ripping out of the 80s with something like super evil.
Yeah.
And Vincent, I thought David Vincent always had such a unique voice.
More
Uh,
charismatic, no doubt about it.
yeah, yeah, such a front man. But
Mm.
Tucker is so fucking metal. Um, saw them, was it last year? I've seen them a couple times with Tucker. I've never got to see them with David Vincent.
Hmm.
And yeah, Steve is such a monster.
Hmm.
Um, and Trey is one in a million for sure.
I think the first song of theirs that I ever heard was Ageless Still I Am.
Okay, hell yeah.
And the first album of theirs I ever owned was Gateways. And I recall being in junior high with my CD player in my, I don't know, my hoodie or whatever, and I'm listening to Gateways. And in my old neighborhood, we would do these luminaries for Christmas, which is like
Mhm.
a white bag and with sand, and you put a candle in it. And so like all the streets would be lined with these luminaries. And but all the residents of the neighborhood would take the whole day and like do this stuff. So I'm out there like putting sand in bags and candles and
Yeah,
on the street and stuff, listening to blasts and stuff and loving it. It was great. So, but
yeah,
yeah, I'm inspired by all those different albums.
for sure. I I promise this is the last thing, and then we'll go. Funny confessional that I don't know if I've ever thrown this out there. You ever have a band, huge band, everybody loves, and then you just for whatever reason, you just catch on to it later than everybody else?
Sure.
Morbid was one of those for me. For some reason, I was already like I was into monstrosity and like more obscure death metal bands before Morbid.
Oh wow.
No idea how that happened. The first Morbid record I ever heard, and it almost completely put me off from the band, was Illid Divinum whatever in 2015,
Sick.
2014 or 15. It was when my first son was around the time my first son was born. And I saw that record came out, like, and I was like, you know what? I'm overdue. I need to finally check out Morbid. And it's like okay, it's like weird industrial kind. It's like really, and that
There's a couple bangers on it though.
sure. I'm just kidding.
I think
No,
there's a couple songs that are like not industrial at all, and they're like
yeah,
just death metal songs. And
there was a couple that like had some really cool. I was like,
Nevermore,
huh?
Nevermore, is that one of them?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think Nevermore is one of them on
I
that album.
remember Radical or whatever. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one's a little cheesy. Um, I guess they were trying to write something very anthemic, and it just kind of came off a little corny. But um, I remember at the time thinking there was some cool stuff. I'm like, okay, I can hear like where Gojira was getting some of their influence, because that was the thing. I knew Gojira like was hugely inspired by Morbid, and I was a Gojira fan.
Right.
Um, but yeah, then I was like, nah, there's something weird here. And I started seeing people kind of poo poo on it. I'm like, let me go back a bit. And I was like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
That is hilarious, dude.
yeah, it's so strange. Typo Negative was like that for me too.
Oh,
And,
okay.
but yeah, they're like one of my favorite bands of all time now. My wife got me into them.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I got into Cannibal Corpse at age like 16, and then Emperor and Mirix Cog, and like going down my rabbit holes on MySpace finding like obscure bands,
Hell yeah.
or at least obscure for 2006 West Virginia teenage boy, you
Right.
know. Uh, but yeah, it's Morbid somehow slid under the radar.
That was kind of me with Cannibal, actually. Like, I didn't really know much about them until way later. And then it was kind of like on my return to metal thing where
Mm.
then I started, okay, yeah, I'm gonna. It's kind of the same story in a way where I was like, okay, I'm gonna check this out and like really try to see if I like it or whatever. I don't remember what the first stuff I checked out was when I got back into them. It probably was Corpse Grinder era stuff though, like the Kill record or something, you know.
Kill was the first Cannibal Corpse record for me because it was like the new one. It was still out in store. The CD was still out in stores to age myself a little bit. Yeah, well, I think I bought that. Maybe I got Children of Bodom Downfall,
Mm,
something else maybe at FYE when we still had one. Um, and then it took me a while to get into the Barnes era. Funny enough, I think they after Kill they did another album or two with Corpse Grinder before I finally started getting in. Like somebody finally played me The Bleeding. I'm like, okay, this one's really cool. And then now I love the whole discography. Like it's all sick.
yeah, yeah, it's all pretty good for sure. Um, they were pretty wild. You know, in the earlier stuff with the arrangements, like the
Hmm.
tempo shifts and stuff, were just kind of like brick wall changes and stuff. I love that stuff.
Yeah,
I should have actually said my alternate with Opeth would have been At the Gates,
fair. Yeah.
but anyways, I'll leave it at that.
Well, Brett, dude, this was awesome. Really appreciate you coming on the show, taking the time, and glad we finally got to sort of chat face to face after how long have we been doing this page? A few years now, something
I
like
think
that.
before I moved to LA, so that would have been like 2020.
Yeah, I think I started around Thanksgiving of 2020. I think I was
Yeah,
on Thanksgiving break and decided to start doing that, and yeah, here
yeah,
we
we've been
are.
talking a little bit here and there ever since, like,
Yeah,
you know, pretty early on. And I appreciate you having me on. It's been a lot of fun, and I love the channel, and I love what you do, and keep doing it, man. Thank you.
appreciate that, man. Thank you, and uh, honestly, you're a big inspiration. Uh, I won't, blow too much smoke up your ass, but there have been several clips and videos you've shared that really motivated me. Like, I need to go fucking practice and quit being so lazy.
That's the idea, and I do it like as like this is what I tell myself. You
Hmm.
know, like this is like I'm telling myself this, and anybody else that is going to listen and that like feels the same way or it hits you and it makes you want to play, then that's kind of the idea, you know.
Hell yeah.
But I appreciate hearing that because that's kind of the whole point. It's like I'm just trying to tell people that they don't have limitations and like you know that like you can understand theory, you can learn technique X, Y, or Z. You can. It's just
Yeah.
it's willpower, man. It's all willpower. So you for people who have aspiring or aspirations and stuff, and they don't think they can play like whoever, yeah, you can. It's just going to take tons of work.
Yeah.
But as long as you can accept that, then you just do the work.
Hell yeah. Uh, you want to throw a plug up real quick or anything before we hop off?
I guess, yeah, if anybody is interested in guitar lessons, they can reach out to me, guitar by Brett at gmail.com, or just follow me on social media. Instagram is at in my book of spells. And I guess just check out whatever comes next with Havok. We're going to be writing a new album, and it'll be released sometime next year. Doing some more shows, and yeah, but that's pretty much all I can plug.
Hell yeah. And I'll include links and everything in the description down below for everybody watching on YouTube. With that, thank you again, Brett. Thank you guys at home for watching. We will see you next time. Peace.